Hello y'all, this is Ollie Wu. I'm back with yet another video tutorial. This time we will actually clone a reverb. Last time we cloned just the post EQ that was added to an existing reverb effect. Now when we clone a reverb, we will of course clone the whole reverb tail, so there's something of the notion of the length of a reverb, maybe the room size, and there's something called damping or also called decay. And the first thing we will do is look more into that decay curve, which, as we shall see, gives the reverb its characteristic sound. Let me do the usual thing where I drag the white noise, pink noise generator. And instead of using this directly, I want to actually create a short pulse, because unlike with the EQ analysis in the last video, we really want to just trigger the reverb with a short pulse and then let it naturally fade out. So how do we do that? Well, I thought it would be fun to actually use our DAW for that. So I will create an audio track. I will call that pulse noise or noise pulse. And I will put that right next to the tone generator. Then instead of my Genus keyboard, I will actually select the tone generator channel right here as the input. Also, I will set the output to fake out like I do with all of my channels, because I don't want it to explode in my monitor speakers or in my headphones. So now we should be able to record this exactly at 0 dB. So I will just start recording and then stop. And for our purpose, we want to have around 2 seconds. So I'm gonna select a 2-bar loop, and then I will double my tempo to 240. So now when I play this back, and I can scroll a bit, and I can set this to just 3/4 of a beat. 21, 22. So it's exactly 2 seconds. We will make it loop. So now we get a short burst here, and then we have time for the reverb to decay. Okay, so let's see what else. We have our reverb 1 and 2 reverb channels here. So let's put the reverb under test in there and activate it. So I have basically the chrome plate preset, and the EQ is switched off. And again, this doesn't matter in this case. All right, so now we're going to use the pulse noise from our new audio channel tone generator. And just like we did before, I will send it to reverb 1 and set it to 0 dB. And also, so I don't forget, I will already send it also to reverb 2. And then we're going to change our setup a bit. So instead of having an analyzer in each of these 2 channels, reverb 1 and 2, after the plugins under test, we will have a separate channel and with an analyzer, and that's going to be our new APU Spectrum Analyzer. So I will switch that on. And I will also send this to the analyzer over here. So now when you look at the curve, it already starts to look nice. But we need to do some changes from the default. So I will do the following. Let's create a custom range so we can see the full spectrum. And I will go from minus 130 decibels, or LUFS in this case, to minus 30 LUFS. So now, I can really see the details that I want to see very nicely. And is nice because I can just click my spacebar to trigger this. I also want to see the spectrum peak. So now when I click this, it will save the highest line. So this is the originating line. Furthermore, I want to disable live monitoring. So now whenever I stop the transport, and this is another benefit over using a noise generator, we can actually see the curve just at that very point. So that's very cool as well. And you can always reset the meters right here. Currently, we're showing the target over the source. So I am now dragging the reverb I want to use for the cloning into the channel reverb 2 here. And this time I'm not gonna send it straight to that analyzer channel, but I will actually send it to the sidechain. So in my DAW, I activate the sidechain here and use the send. And this will create a send similar to the one here, only that it's not going into this channel directly, but into the sidechain of this plugin. So this one goes directly, this one goes into the sidechain. You also need to activate sidechain. And if we switch on the reverb, you will see that the gray one now also decays more slowly, but you can exactly see what the damping is about. It starts all flat, and then very quickly the low and the high frequencies get dampened. And it doesn't happen in this case, it just stays a flat line in the gray version, and that means there's no dampening happening yet. It's all unnaturally straight. So how then can we clone our plugin? Well, you can already see there's a whole decay editor. In many cases, these reverb plugins only have a high or low knob. This is actually really convenient. Here you have like tons of different options. So if I set all this, you can see all of a sudden this caves in a lot sooner, and it actually looks pretty good. You can also see that maybe the base timing is off. Yeah, you can now see the gray now goes down a bit sooner than the other one. So you can play around with this. Also the most critical part, I think, is that these curves kind of pull in the right timing and also to the right places, not too far, not too close from the outside. Now, these things you can probably also later correct a bit with EQ on top. So this was the clone curve from the original, now not longer fuzzy, curve from the UAD EvenT 140. So now, and that's not very cool, right? Acon Digital is all I can see. Second one is actually the Reverb plugin we were just using. So let's plug that into 2 slots. Okay, so now this looks fairly good. It's just going to be a bit more fuzzy. So not all the Reverb plugins are perfect as the EMT here. We have the dry level switched off. We have no EQ right now. And here we have also the dry level switched off and no EQ. So just like we did before, we will use the first instance to dial in the EQ. And of course, I already have kind of my solution here. So of course, you can move this a bit, but you see in general, you can kind of glean where this is going. So yeah, in the final version of this, I just have, of course, the dry level back on. Depends a bit also if you're using this in a send channel or not. And I'll set the swirl a bit by listening and comparing with the original reverb, which is just the modulation. Yeah, that was a lot and quite complex. So maybe you also want to watch this a couple times and really follow step by step. Until next time, this is Olli Wu.